we've got an intro. We've got a producer. We're all set over here. Wes is in the green room producing for us tonight. I am Justin Jarrett, joined by tonight's co-host, Chase Gearhart, head coach at H.E. McCracken, winner of what, 152, 153 matches in high school?
It was 183.
Oh, geez. I way
He's
shortchanged
counting, right?
you. Jeez. I way shortchanged you. That's a ton, dude. That's so many.
That's awesome.
He still hammers middle schoolers. I'll tell you that. And Coach Rutherford, Alex, John, what do you want to go by?
Alex is cool. You're friends and family.
That's what I know you as.
John's the
Coach
work
Alex,
guy. John makes
okay.
the spends it, so you know.
Alex is the fun guy. All right. Yeah. Well, I know Alex. He's a great dude. Coach Alex Rutherford, you may know him as John from Battery Creek. They hosted the Trap Duels this weekend, so we'll get into that a little bit. But man, it was an eventful weekend for wrestling, and we may have some more friends stopping by. We sent out links. They may be passed out because, as we can all attest, Sunday after a Saturday wrestling tournament, a little rough on the system. I was lucky enough to get 12 hours of sleep, so I felt like a human when I woke up. You guys might have not been as fortunate, but man, it was a wild weekend of the middle school JV qualifiers. And then Rutherford, tell us about Trap Duels, man. You guys had a great day over there.
Yeah, so Trap Duels, which used to be called the Battery Creek Duels, it's been running for close to 30 years now. It's been Trap Duels for about 14, named after Coach Trapzano, who was a longtime coach at Creek. He did football, softball, wrestling, Spanish, and he was Nate Day's mentor.
Yeah.
So when he passed, Nate nominated him, and so we try to keep that legacy rolling. We had 6 hammers of teams this year. It's pretty great. A little bit smaller than we normally like, but it worked out well. We brought in Walk-em-Off from Pawleys Island, and the rest was an all Lowco tournament with Will Branch, Hilton Head, Buford, Bluffton, and ourselves, with Bluffton then taking the title at the end of it all in a crazy 3-way tie that came down to who scored the most team points.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So who all ended up tied and how?
So we beat Walk-em-Off in a 39-39.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that one.
Yeah. 39-39 that came down to criteria. Battery Creek clinched it out due to some coaching choices, we'll call it.
This one, Gearhart. Coach got popped for 2 match misconducts. They would have won by 2. Instead, they end up tied. First criteria is match misconducts. Boom.
Wow.
Battery Creek wins it. Not how we like to win it, but
and Coker got a pin to clinch the tie, which was really a win.
Yeah,
should have been a loss.
I'll tell you, John Coker, I don't know. He's wrestling out of his element this weekend. He went 5 for 5 all pins. So
it started the weekend before at Shark. Yeah. He beat McCallum. He had a great weekend. So I'm not at all surprised to see that.
It's been coming, man. That's one of the hardest working kids in the room. I mean, he gets in and grinds every day. He's a soft spoken kid, but he likes to wrestle. I mean, when you look at like Elmer and Gunner, they go 5-0, and that's a normal weekend. That's a day in the office. And John's been having some hammers the last couple of years, so it's kind of nice to see him finally get to be the hammer.
Yeah, start to turn that corner.
Yeah, so then we beat Walk-em-Off. Walk-em-Off beats Bluffton, and then we get Bluffton in the final round, and we didn't wrestle. We I think we were too excited. We beat Buford High, and we beat Walk-em-Off. We were all pumped, and Bluffton, a very well-coached team by Coach Nutter, put our flames out real quick, and they wrestled awesome. Great match there was Leroy Tyus versus Bradley Denmark again. I believe it was a 3-point match at the end of it all. They wrestled at the May River in the semis, and it was a 1-point match. So it was great.
Denmark got him again.
Yeah,
they got him again.
Denmark got him again. This one, we was more aggressive. It was like a 7-9 match. It was a lot higher scoring.
Yeah, it was really defensive match. The
first this was more. They were getting after it a little bit. After next weekend, we won't wrestle Bluffton. So it's kind of like this might be their last shot to get after each other, depending on how the matchups go next week. So they went after it. And then the other highlight of our day was Mr. Andrew Legree knocked off the number 2 in the state from Walk-em-Off. Patrick Gallagher, who again, Walk-em-Off was cool. We had a lot of really cool things happen this tournament. Walk-em-Off had 2 kids get their 100th win on the season.
Nice.
Which is great to finally see that. Both juniors, both hardworking kids. And Patrick Gallagher was one of them who had beaten Andrew Legree in the first term of the weekend or the year at Waccamaw in a pretty close match. And then Andrew beat him by 7. We had the major, and with like 2 seconds left, they got a takedown. And I think Andrew was more excited about just getting the win than holding on to the major. But absolutely. I mean, we had 4 seniors, Andrew one of them. All those guys went 5-0. Leroy was the only loss, goes to Bradley Denmark. So our seniors really kind of led the troops this weekend. But it was, I mean, great all the way around. Whale Branch has a ton of people.
Especially they got a ton of girls.
Which is, we got to see, which is great. We got some couple of girl matches set up. So
nice.
Ginger, Atha, and Emily Going from us got some good matches in. So that was pretty cool to see girls get matches too during the trap duel. So it was a fun weekend.
And Buford had a few girls there as well, right?
So. They did. Their girls were, some of them were in the starting lineup, so it's kind of hard because when they're starting, you really can't. And
you can only get them so many matches per day too, right?
Yeah, and
are you guys limited to 5 like we are?
We're 5 unless it's a championship. So if it's a championship, we can go to 6 now. That's the new high school league rule. But there's got to be some kind of medal or something on the line.
Right.
So if it's not for a placement or a trophy of some sort.
So in this kind of deal, it's only going to be 5.
Yeah. So it was 5. So we were trying to limit them, make sure they all had their stuff. But no, it was great all the way around. It's fun to see Lowco get after it. Lowco's competitive. I'll tell you right now. This is probably the most competitive.
Buford and Hilton Head tied too, right? Went down to criteria.
So and they came down to criteria, and Bluffton's a workhorse this year. They've done some great things over there. I know Mike Newton over at Hilton Head is going to get that team right. You can see it. Very fundamental. Even you can see his style is already coming back. We know what he likes to do.
Tilts and the
Well, it's funny. I warned my kids. I was a tilter in high school. I was a leg rider in tilts. I was going to run up the score. And so I'm laughing with him. I'm like, he's going to tilt you. Then it's going to be a Mason, and then it's going to go to a wing tilt. And so, we practice those things, but the way Newton teaches it, you can tell these guys are looking for it. It's been fun, and then they're really good.
So the tie between Buford and Hilton Head, who ended up taking the W?
Does anybody know?
Well, that's the fun part. You asked one or the other. I didn't look at it. Mike says they won. Buford says the other team won, so they're back.
Mike said Buford won. Buford said Hilton Head won.
Yeah, so
hey, you love it.
When it comes down to that, it's kind of one of those where is it a seeding point? Is it, are we going to argue this? But I believe it came down to either forfeits or forfeits combined with pins. It's kind of weird how that looks in the rule book.
I thought it was most 6-point wins, but
and that's what's changed.
I might be wrong because it might be most forfeits. I think they changed it to most forfeits is first.
Yeah, so
most pins.
Last year we tied with Buford in the region tournament, and it came down to more forfeits, not forfeits and pins. But every year, if you look at it, which I hate having to buy the rule book every year because you assume the rules are going to be the same. But every couple of years, if you look at it, you'll see the criteria kind of switches.
Well, I know who could tell us for certain is George Dixon.
Well, and that's who. When we had the 3-way tie, that was the first one. I said, "All right, George, what do we do?" And he said, "It's most team points scored." And so there's me, Nutter, and Coach Williams from Waccamaw. We're like got calculators out. We're trying to add things up. You give a bunch of wrestling coaches math.
Hey, anybody get a math degree?
Yeah, I'm asking one of the kids. I've got Gunner double checking my numbers.
Well, at least we all have calculators on our phones now. That makes it a little bit easier.
But
the technology, though, the technology failed us at the middle school JV.
Yeah, so I'm sure
nobody remembered how to make a paper bracket anymore.
I'm curious if it was just at our tournament or if it was everywhere. Everyone that was using Flow.
So I thought the same thing.
It worked at Bearcat.
It worked at Bearcat. I called Dylan Gary, who works with War. He's over at Somerville. Somerville was out of there by about 4:00. So
I will say, wait, there was one in Somerville. It said it was a stall, is what it said on area.
Maybe it was Stall that he was at.
I think it was at Stall. Well, I will say I didn't look at all the weights, but 88. There were like 17 kids in ours, and there were only 6 in theirs. So I don't know. Yeah. We had a massive number of kids at ours, man.
Well, each weight class had like 16.
The Somerville schools had so many kids.
They do every year. He just said, I just asked, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of coaches, and one said Friday night at Liberty, they were there till after midnight.
Boy, we were on course to be there till about 1 until Chad Cox pulled some magic and
Well,
just
he's a
said,
wizard at tournaments, so
we're going top 8 instead of top 6, boys. We're cutting it at the Concy quarters and going home. And that was the only way we got out there before midnight. And our bus left at 5 a.m. So it was a long day.
Well, and I
Credit
feel
to the kids though that it was a tough environment, and we told them at the start of the day, like, hey, it's gonna be rough. You gotta stay locked in. And they did a great job of staying around the table and being ready to go when it was time and all that stuff.
I mean,
but
if you weren't standing around the table, you were missing your match too.
Although there was a good bit of lenience as far as that went. I mean, Truman's last guy, we bumped a match to let him puke a little more into the trash can before he wrestled. That was crazy. But there was also a match that we waited about 10 minutes for somebody to finish going to the bathroom. He came out and stuck our kid in about 30 seconds. But he might not have been able to if he'd had to do it while holding one in, But let's get some more reports from around the area because Coach Lons from JP2 has been hanging out in the green room for a minute, and they were at another dual tournament, Academic Magnet, along with Bridges. So let's get Coach Lons in here, Greg Lons from JP2, and chat with him as well. Coach, welcome back to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. How's it going?
It's going great. Sorry to keep you waiting so long. We were kind of yammering along, but I wanted to get to a good break. And I before we go too much further, I want to shout out Reverence Wrestling Club as the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. We really couldn't have, taken the leap to go ahead and start another show right now in the heart of trying to build up what we're doing without their support. And they've been with us, since they started, really supporting what we do and recognizing how it all goes together. So shout out to Blake and Reverence Wrestling Club for everything they're doing. Coach, you guys went to Academic Magnet this weekend. Sounds like there were some really good matchups up there as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we had a little longer break. We didn't have any holiday tournaments or anything going on. So we started off with the host team of Academic Magnet, and we were, to say the least, either sleepwalking or pretty rusty. So we lost that match. I think it was 54-27. Wasn't too happy about that, but we lit a fire on our kids, and they responded when 4 matches in a row, and you could say that they came out on fire after that. So 5 a.m. bus drive, 6 a.m. bus drive isn't usually too good on the kids, but I think usually they step up when it comes down to pressure matches. Last match we wrestled Stahl for the 3rd place match, and we had 2 guys that came up with come from behind pins. 2 guys who fought off their backs for over a minute and lost by close decisions. One guy, he almost stuck the guy. The ref tapped the mat right after the whistle went off, and we pulled it out. That was the difference. We won 42-36. So they stepped up in that way, which was pretty good considering we had a couple new guys in the lineup and we're missing a couple guys. So not too bad considering we hadn't wrestled in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, not at all. And like you mentioned, you got to win over Stahl, which is a 5A school. You beat Manning, which is a 2A program. Colleton Prep in a walk, and Military Magnet. But Colleton Prep's more like your peers than any of these other guys. So that's really impressive what you were able to do this weekend. And 5-0 guys, Trenton LaFountain and Brian Orda, 4-1 for Daniel Snyder, Chris Orda and Gavin Byrne, Alex Mercer, 3-1. Chase LaFountain, Hayes Kiefer, Jack Hannigan, and Javier Jimenez, 3-2. Wrestlers of the week: Brian Orta, Gavin Byrne, and Jack Hannigan. So good work there. What do you guys got going on this week? I know we'll see you Thursday for some middle school action.
Yeah, so our middle school, which we're trying to grow that one. That's obviously the foundation. I think we're hopefully exponential because last year we had 2. This year we have 4.5, if you want to call it that. Hopefully next year. I don't know, do the math on that one. That's like 16. I'm a middle school math teacher, so you guys talking about the math numbers.
There you go.
You can help
anyways, so our middle school will travel to on Wednesday to Bridges, and those guys will go there and wrestle with Bridges and Edisto Carver, and so that'll be good for them. and then of course over McCracken, and then on Saturday we're headed to the Bluffton Bobcat duels. So we're excited about that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You'll be there too, right?
Yeah, that's one of our staples. We really like going to that, especially the week after trap. We try to stay all duels all of January. That's kind of our focus as we get ready for playoffs. Try to keep the guys dual tournaments and move into region. So
also gives you a chance to kind of see what you've got as far as maneuvering lineup, and you got 2 at one weight and you bump to cover a forfeit, and you see how a guy handles that, and maybe that other guy's better off in the heavier weight class. You get to play around with some different things. So I like that from a scheduling standpoint, setting yourself up with a lot of duels. And I love duels. I mean, can we just talk about, as wrestling guys, how much better a freaking duel is in a tournament? Man, I love a duel.
That's why we always do duel tournaments.
Yeah, there's just something about, maybe coming down to that last match and it's all on you. I don't know. It's just awesome. It's just a good environment.
Well, it really, I think what it is for me is even though it's an individual sport in many ways, there's a bond in the room. We are a team, and we saw it. We saw it over the break, I think, start to form in our room a little bit more than it had. And we went up there this weekend, and it was palpable. They're pulling for each other. They're starting to care about each other. And I think that really comes out in the duel match, where it's I can't give up because I can't give up 6, and it really reinforces that. And I think it helps kids start to put it together, it matters how, even if you're going to lose, it matters how you lose. And that kind of brings it home. And I look forward to getting back to duel matches. We haven't had one in a long time, and we've got a bunch coming up. So I'm pumped. But Lons is coming too. Gearhart, we got JP2 added to the schedule. We got 5 teams coming in on Thursday, so it should be fun. Only 288s as far as I can tell, though.
Good luck finding more of those. If you find more, let me know, because I'll take some extras.
Take as many as you can get right. Hilton Head's got them all. They got 380s and 288s.
Yeah, I don't know what they are not feeding Hilton Head kids. I thought they'd be the best fed.
I think Newton's just walking around finding little kids and going, "Hey, come on, let's go."
That recruiting part is the best part about being a coach. When you stand in the hallway and you look at a random kid you don't know and you say,
"Yeah, how much you weigh?"
You look like 100 pounds. And they get all offended at first, and they're like, "No, I need you."
Every kid who comes on my trampoline in my backyard gets asked how much they weigh. Every single one. What school you go to? How much you weigh? And in fact, we got a new recruit coming in this week that I recruited off my trampoline, as a matter of fact, and might have got another one today. His mom said he can wrestle next year, and I said, "What about the next 3 weeks? Can you go ahead and get a head start on next year?" I'll take you right now. He weighs 106 pounds or something. I'm like, "Come on, buddy. We'll throw you in there. We'll bump somebody up."
We had a scale in our garage, so when my friends would come over, we'd come through the garage. It was like a doctor scale, the old slide scale, and my dad would be every now and then be like, "Hey, Chris, what do you weigh? Why are you on the scale?"
You look pretty tough. How much you weigh?
Ask Chris if he wants to wrestle.
Yeah, Truman's been. I took a little video and sent it to Gearhart earlier. Truman was demonstrating referee's position on the trampoline. Showed him a breakdown. He said he's been working with all of them. He's been setting up matches to see which ones are the toughest. So he's our chief recruiter.
He's going to start his own club.
Yeah.
The Truman Club. I'm all for it.
True Dog Wrestling Club.
I see that's a team coming.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I'm not trying to horn in on what's happening in Reverence, man. They got it all going on. We'll be on that. What's heavyweight for middle school? 285.
Yeah, it's the same for high school.
285.
Yeah.
Weight classes for middle school: 80, 88, 96, 102, 108, 114, 120, 126, 135, 145, 158, 175, 205, 285. It gets big jumps quick.
175 to 205 is a little bit weird, but
yeah, I think the craziest one for me, I think, is that you go from 145 to 175 and you've only got one weight in between.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. That's crazy to me.
And you guys have what, 14 weight classes?
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, same number of weight classes.
Which
and
is
we
weird.
start and stop, or we start at 88, but we stop at the same number. But I'll tell you, we saw some 285s that were pushing it this weekend.
They used
They
to
ain't
be
gonna
unlimited.
they ain't gonna make it in high school. I know. These guys ain't gonna make it in high school. Those two from Royal Oaks or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw them. They're big.
Those dudes were huge.
They're
They're 285.001, you know.
Yeah, like they needed the +2.
Yeah.
For 285.
You know, I've seen high school heavyweights miss it, but I've not seen a middle school yet. But that'll be a new one.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it with a couple of these jokers. They're massive. But then you got guys like Carmelo that can't be but 210, and he's going up against them.
Forced to go 285. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No,
tough.
it's kind of wild. We've got like 4 175s. One of them's hurt right now, so we only have 3. But like we got all the 175s we can handle.
Well, we've had 2 175s hurt. We used to have 5.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're
Welcome to middle school sports.
Yeah.
It's wild, but we can't find 114 because we dropped him to 108. So no, it's 114. We don't have it. We currently don't have a 205 or a 285. But we will. We'll soon have. We'll bump one. Yeah, we'll bump one to 205. But no, it's kind of crazy. Middle school weights are kind of crazy.
Coach, you can hop into 285, right? Shave the beard, you'll be good.
There we go. We got a 205 coming.
Uh-oh.
He's only, what's he, 6th grade? He'll be here next year. Oh, we got Rudis. We got little Rudisil who's bigger coming next year, Coach.
Hey, that's a stud last name.
Yeah, that's a good get. That's a good get right there.
Yeah.
Only 6th. Yeah, so we get him next year. So we get him
That's
next
awesome.
year. Outstanding. That makes me happy. But Bridges Prep was up there too and made the finals at Academic Magnet, right? But lost a couple of guys to injury. I understand they're 175 and 205 both got hurt, or 215. So that was unfortunate. But they had a good showing, right, Greg?
Yeah. You know, I was talking to Alex beforehand. We're joking around how we're going to have a rematch in the finals, which was the ultimate goal. And of course, we didn't show up for our first match, and they showed up all the way, and they're down a couple guys in finals, and one guy broke his wrist, the guy got injured as well, and they still went out and scrapped against Academic Magnet. Actually, the guy broke his wrist happened in their round, the 4th match, 4th duel. So they were down 2 guys in the finals, and I want to say, because we were competing our match, and it was 30-30 at one point in time, so they were tied up. And it was pretty good crowd, electric and all that. And then Academic Magnet just, of course, had a little bit more because of, obviously Bridges being down a couple guys. So, but they gave a good fight. So
yeah, I'm impressed with that program. Their middle school kids are tough too.
Oh yeah,
they got quite a few good ones. How many did they get through? I don't remember.
I was looking just a second. I was trying to see that y'all's bracket is so confusing. So I don't know how.
It's all jacked up. Yeah, it doesn't make a lick of sense, bro.
It shows that they have 6 guys that at least made it to the finals. Whether they were in the quarterfinals
it should be whatever number they show as having should be the number that advanced.
So it looks like they had 7 make it.
Yeah, that's solid. Yeah, we had 8.
Yeah.
Solid
7 there you go.
for that program. Yep, there we go. That's what I thought it was.
Did they have any champs?
That's my man Dan.
Well, on this side I can't tell, so maybe Dan knows more, but it looks like here looks like it's 7 in the championships.
Yeah, well, 7 alive. Yeah, they did not. They had a runner up, which was Trayvon Jenkins at 96. He ran into our hammer Lawson, who for me was the best middle school wrestler of the weekend. He was Andrew Lawson in 96 was just phenomenal. He beat 2 really good kids. He beat a couple hammers.
Well,
arguably 102 was tough too. No, they ended up combining them. When the flow thing messed up, it ended up just being combined. But Lassa was great. And then there's a kid from Woodland, Mac Milligan. Woodland doesn't have a team, so he and his little brother wrestled unattached, and they both won. His little brother's the one to beat Eli.
Yeah,
cool.
Mac Milligan is the real deal 8th grader. He was dominant. And I don't know where he'll end up because they don't have a high school program right now. And he told me he intended to go to Woodland and thought they were going to start a program, but if that falls through, he'll be looking to go somewhere else.
What's
But
Woodland close to?
What's that?
What's Woodland even close to?
Nothing. He was talking about JT's the little one. He was talking about like his mom getting a job in the schools or something.
Wow.
And
That's
trying
tough.
to go to Ashley Ridge or someplace. Because Woodland's not close to anything, but he's a stud and he's got to find a place to wrestle. He's really good. Because I mean, you can do it without wrestling school, but high school. But I think it's an important part of it, don't you guys?
Right. I agree. We don't have a lacrosse team, so we have 2 kids that go from Battery Creek over to Buford to play lacrosse, and I think that makes it hard when you're not with the kids at school, and you really probably don't get the same feel for the team when you're crosstown rival having to wear Kelly green inside of a blue and gold school.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But I think he may attend a different school if they don't start a program there. I think he'd prefer to stay at Woodland, and hopefully they'll have the good sense to try to build a program around him. They got a really good football program there that could benefit from having a basketball program or a wrestling program as well. So I hope they see I think those rural schools in South Carolina, I love seeing them starting wrestling because it really is great for kids who don't play basketball and want to continue training in the off season for football. You guys know, I mean, we talk about it all the time, but like every offensive and defensive lineman in the NFL wrestled in high school pretty much. I wanted to find, I was trying to find, do you guys know where the results for the Dreer Blue Devil are? Oh, they're on track.
They're on track.
I know May River finished second, 1 point behind Carolina Forest, which was
that's a tough tournament too up there.
I gotta find those. But who else coming to Bluffton duels?
I know it's obviously JP2, Buford. Let me see. I've got the email from Coach Nutter over there. He sent out about a week ago. Let me see who we got here. Bobcat duels.
I love Nutter. Nutter's awesome. I've gotten to know him better this year, and I really enjoy him. He's a high intensity dude and knows what he's talking about. I do have. Here we go.
I've got it for you.
What's
he's
that?
got. He's got right here. He's got Bluffton, Hilton Head, Buford, Battery Creek, May River, Stratford, South Florence, Carlton Prep, and John Paul II. And I know he was trying to add a couple more when I talked to him on Saturday. So
good stuff.
Pretty tough.
Lots of good action there. Found the results for the Blue Devil, and we may have Ashley Powell joining us shortly. He has emerged. He was on the phone with a family member. Marcus Folk was 4th for May River at 120, so he's back at 120 after dabbling with 113 at Shark. I think that makes more sense for them.
Yeah.
So does that mean that McCallum went back to 126? Neither one of them looked as strong down a weight than they did before. I didn't think.
I think the cut was a little bit harder than they thought it was going to be. It looked like.
I think so. Neither one of them looked quite as effective down a weight. And Rudisil went back up too. Interestingly, he placed second. Actually, lost a 10-5 decision to Luke Martin from Hammond. So bully for the Skiza boys. Lawrence, have you seen that kid?
Yeah, he's solid. Yeah, he's a junior and is I want to say a 3 or 4 time state champ. And Austin.
Well, that's Skiza now. That's Skiza.
Yeah, but he qualified. I want to say went out to Fargo. I want to say. Yeah.
Okay, so he's the real deal.
Prep Slam. He was 4th at Prep Slam.
I mean, if you beat Rudisil in a full match, you're the real deal. Plain and simple. Like that guy's legit. Dylan Seaman got third. He beat Grayson Hahn from Heathwood, 144. So that must be pretty good. This was a tough tournament, so the Skeezy kids who placed are legit. Josh Echeverria third at 175. Beat a kid from Greer. In the Concies by Techfall. I wonder who he lost to. I'll have to look at that. Gavin Sitkowski fourth at 190. That's a good result for him. Will Morrow second at 215. He's been solid all year. And Bo Gwynn fourth at 285. So pretty good stuff from them. I do want to look at that 175 bracket though. See who got Echeverria. That's interesting, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's got to be somebody good. Oh, they got him early. Griswold got him. Griswold from South Aiken, I guess. SA. Got him 5-4 in the quarters. So then he had to fight through the consies. Yeah, Powell just told me lost to South Aiken, got caught in a roll through. Oh, is Powell in the green room? He sure is. Well, let's let him tell us about it then. Ashley Powell joins us on the Lowco Grind. What's going on, man? I know you trying to get back to feeling like a human after a 2-day tournament, and
right,
you've been on the phone.
Man. It's you don't get any rest during that season, Coach. All the coaches in here can tell you about that. But I apologize getting on a little bit late.
It's all good, man. We still got half a show to go. Tell us about you guys. It sounds like this was a really tough field as far as individuals go for some of the guys to place where they did and some that didn't place. And then also interested about the guys going back up who went down for Shark and what, what's going on there.
Right. No, good tournament. Like I said, there was a lot, about 5 or 10 teams that are really, really close in points. So I think it was pretty even field. Like I said, I still think James Allen's the team to beat for our region. They're a little bit beat up right now, but I fully expect them to be at full go here in about 2 weeks. I thought the good thing was we finished second. We didn't have a champ, so that I guess everybody produced for our team, which was good. We had a lot of kids who had kind of been struggling lately, needed to get on a roll, and we got through. We had a couple kids win 3 or 4 in a row matches. That hadn't happened all year. So overall, we came back pretty healthy. So we hopefully we start reaching out this week and can see what we can do come region time starting Wednesday.
We talked earlier about how much we all love duels. So I know you're pumped to get him back into duel season here.
Yeah, see, we set our schedule every year. I'm not 100% a duel guy. A lot of times I don't like duels. Me personally, when you got a couple of really good kids in duel matches, people bump away from them.
Right.
And sometimes your best kids don't get to wrestle the best kids from another team. So I think individual tournaments are incredibly important for some of your high-end guys so that they get opportunity to see each round. They, in theory, should be wrestling somebody better than they did the previous round. And I think that's incredibly important, as we try to prepare to do our best in January and February and through the month of February, individual-wise.
Right. But then I love it when we get to that duel season.
The duel, there's nothing better than duel, man, in terms of, you're 14 versus our 14, and you got to manipulate your lineup and change it around. You got to rely on a kid that's got a losing record not to get pinned against a champ, and you got a kid who's good, and he's wrestling somebody who maybe not as good. You got to find a way to make sure he pins. And the coaching, Coach Rutherford will tell you that the coaching aspect is a lot more intricate when it comes to duel matches. Move your lineup around and how you do certain things. So the duels, I love it. I think it's the truest way to represent your whole team. Some coaches focus on just the good kids, and we try. Our worst kid is equally as valuable as our best kid. So each weight class is equally as important. So the duels are. We really enjoy the fact that our state still does honor that as our state champion. Now we like the individual to be able to do both. So our coach association honors that one, but the duels is nothing better than a good duel.
All right. Anybody? I'm going to shout out some sponsors. Does anybody need to go to bed? This is your opportunity to just bow out for the rest of the show, and we'll let you go. But if everybody's rolling with this, I'll shout out some sponsors, then we'll talk some more wrestling here on the Lowco Grind. The MVP sponsors of Lowco Sports start with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports. She's with the Anchor Home Group of Keller Williams of Lowcountry, and she'd love to help you find your place in the Lowco. So let her know if you want to put down an anchor in the best place with Megan Jarrett, official realtor of Lowco Sports, Anchor Home Group. And homegrown home inspections will make sure that home is perfect for you and a great investment. My friend Jan Lucas and his team are the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports, and they'll be your eyes and ears until move-in day to make sure that you're making a great investment when we go to Mickelson Law Firm to sign the papers with the official real estate closing attorneys of Lowco Sports, our original sponsors since 2017. We appreciate the Mickelson Law Firm for all their support. They can help you with all your legal needs. And the hospice care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice care of Lowco Sports. We love their wonderful caring staff and all the services they provide to the Lowcountry, including hospice care, palliative care, and free grief counseling, because at hospice care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying, it's about living. Those are our MVP sponsors, fellas, and let's keep talking wrestling on the grind. Big news in our state, outside our definition of the Lowco, but definitely still in the Lowcountry. JJ Peace is no longer undefeated. He lost up at the Bearcat. Gerhard, you did a little research on that one before. You knew that was coming up. Stinson, you knew a little more about him. Tell us more about that.
Well, just doing some research, I knew it was going to be Stinson, Gianni, and also JJ, and then I think Stinson and Gianni seen each other in the semis, and a really, really tough, controversial call happened, and Stinson ended up getting away to the finals. But
1 point win, and I only saw like a video where it was in the background, but it looked like a takedown at the buzzer to me. Yeah. You seen it yet, Rutherford?
Yeah, I watched it. Someone else posted from Stinson's side. You see the crowd, you see it. It's kind of hard to see the clock. It's a tough call either way, and you hate to have it, but
it's tough.
Stinson seemed
Gianni was getting after it, though. Gianni was getting after it at the end.
Yeah, I like watching him. I really liked him. I watched him at the Shark Invitational against JJ Peace, and it did feel like JJ Peace had control of the match, but it kind of felt like Gianni was setting the pace with the shots, and he was trying to get to work. So it's just fun watching that. And then
he's young too, right?
Yeah, I think he's a sophomore.
I think so.
He's good. Tough kid.
Yeah, that's Pal's boy. He's a Pal's region.
Yeah, Pal's got to tangle with him.
He's good. So, man.
Yeah, he is. So, are those guys still toying with going back down, or are they all sticking where they are?
Who are our kids?
Or do you want to tell us?
See, man, that Justin Jarrett, man, I told you, man, you're popular now, man. Everybody listens to the show. You can't be telling all the information, man. We gotta keep some. We got a kid that was out for a week or so. He's been out for the last 2 tournaments. He'll be back. He's definitely a starter for us. So we'll have to shift our lineup a little bit to give our best opportunity. But it's going to be changing week by week until probably the rest of the season, because I think we need to have our lineup one place for Wednesday's match. I think we got to have our lineup a different place for next Wednesday's match. So we'll kind of see how it all shakes out.
10-4. Still trying to figure it out. We won't give away too many of your secrets, but I mean the ones that are out there on Flow or Track Wrestling, we can't. I mean that's public record, brother.
Man,
you just want to make them do the work, right? You want to make them do the work, right?
Exactly.
It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword, this having more media coverage, It goes both ways.
Right.
But, the cream rises to the crop at the end of the day, so it's all good. Any other big results that you guys saw this weekend that shocked you or surprised you or impressed you? Ricky Springs winning 120 at Bearcat was pretty good. He was seeded 3rd. I think that dude's
good tournament,
really
man.
Good.
4A team. We talk about Northwestern. They won it, and Northwestern's a 4A team. They're up. I would argue they're probably the second best team in our state. They're in the upper state though, and 4A, so they're stuck with Eastside. Eastside went to the one of the toughest tournaments in the Southeast in Tennessee and finished. I think they finished terribly at 4th place. They had 7 finalists. They had out of like 50 teams. I think their 106 pounder beat a nationally ranked kid who was a Fargo champ. I mean, they're good, man. But I think Northwestern is the second best team in 4A right now. They're very good.
Right on. Yeah, Cameron Stenson beating JJ Peace, and then Batone with the 44-second pin in the 3rd place match.
Yeah.
Little red ass.
Yeah, I think the kid from that beat JJ, I think he's committed to North Carolina. I think I'm not 100% on that, but I think that's where he's going.
He's a 3-timer in North Carolina, I think.
Yeah, I think he's
right. Yeah, I think
too.
he's committed to the Tar Heels.
Yeah, that may be right. I'll tell you in a minute. He's a stud. So and that was a good match, 1-point match, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it ended up being like 8-5.
Actually, I don't think it was a 1-point match. I think it was. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was like.
But I think Peace has beat him before.
Yeah, it was 8-5.
Like some of the national level tournaments.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's committed to UNC. He's committed to UNC.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Yeah, and he's like 56-0 apparently.
Yeah, he's a 3-timer.
Yeah, he has also never lost in high school.
Yeah, so it's gonna come down. One of those.
Somebody was losing. Wow.
Yeah.
What a match. What a match.
I'm sure the whole crowd was just on that mat.
Yeah, and then Jake Sowers with a fun note in the comments that Vivian Uriola from Bluffton or from May River won the girls title at 126 in the JV, which is awesome. Love to see that. Bunch of champs from the Lowco there. Vivian, Andre Cavallero at 150 for you, pal, as well as Cameron Jordan at 190 and Jaden Yevis at 285. Jacob Vordish from Bluffton won 175. So yeah, really solid showing from the JV squad. So the cool thing about the JV middle school qualifier for me is like looking around and thinking about like all these guys are going to be, where they're going to be, at what high school they're going to be in a couple of years, and thinking about, what it's going to look like a few years down the road. And obviously you don't know what weights your guys are going to be at, how their bodies are going to develop, but you start to get an idea for who's going to have, the most hammers in the room sort of. And there's a lot of kids out there doing work. It's really cool to see. Is this the most you've seen at the lower level since you've been around here, pal?
Oh, 100%. Like I said, I just talked to talking to Greg Brewer and Tommy Bell a little bit this morning about our qualifying system. We had approximately 3,000 kids wrestling that middle school JV division this past weekend. Which we started this qualifying system 10 years ago with the way that we qualify it. And it's almost got to the point now where we got to create another kind of sectional tournament.
Layer, yeah.
Right. I mean, like, for example, Myrtle Beach, every year Myrtle Beach area is about 100 kids, 120. Wow. They had 300. Every single tournament yesterday had right at or above 300 kids. So the sport is definitely growing in our state, and that's really, really cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was an unreal scene at Fort Dorchester yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
There was so many freaking kids. I thought I didn't think we were ever leaving. Luckily for your JV guys, pal, they were able to dump the River Edge middle schoolers on our bus driver, so we could get everybody home, and your guys didn't have to stick around, but it was a long day.
They rode up with us. They had a little issue. It didn't work out, like I said. I think that's one thing important about our district, man, where everybody's willing to help everybody.
Yeah.
Like I said, when we host a tournament, Rutherford's incredibly helpful with anything we need. Matter of fact, he let us borrow his clock, and I forgot to return it. We were getting on the bus to leave to go to Dreer, and he messaged me, and I was like, oh, yep. So I put in the back of my truck for him to get. So our district is incredibly helpful. We're competitors. We want to beat each other, but if it comes down to logistics and helping each other out, we usually do a pretty good job of that.
Well, and we had various different assistant coaches from other programs sitting next to us on the corner of the mat, cheering on our kids and yelling at them. And we were doing the same for them. And, all the Beaufort County teams definitely were pulling together and cheered for all our local kids. And it's a cool thing. I mean, I got baseball players on the Hilton Head team and, kids I know on just about every team from other sports. So we're all in it together, and it's definitely cool to see when we're out there. But well, let me shout out a few more sponsors, and then we'll move on down the road. We've got our varsity sponsors. They start with Reverence Wrestling Club, the presenting sponsor of this podcast, and all of us can sing the praises of Reverence and the great work that they're doing over there. Blake Maffei has created an incredible facility and club for wrestling to flourish here in the Lowcountry, and we appreciate their support in everything that they do. And we also have DDS Web Design. They build, host, and maintain websites for small businesses and nonprofits so they can get found online and do more and think bigger. Hit them up at ddshhi.com and tell them Lowco sent you. And the Parker Law Group, serving legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties for years, now on board with us to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on even more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowcountry. Those are our varsity sponsors for Lowco Sports. And speaking of those areas, I'd like to see wrestling flourish in Jasper and Hampton counties and see what happened out there. That'd be fun. A bunch of kids who could benefit from that, and I think they could have some really tough wrestlers out there in a few years. But what do you guys got coming up? Powell, you going to Bluffton Duels or not?
Yeah, we'll be there Saturday. Yes, sir. Yep.
10-4. So Bluffton Duels. Everybody's going Bluffton Duels. We have next stage of JV and middle school next weekend. What's that, Rutherford?
I said that's the place to be. I mean,
yeah, I know.
Or Somerville, where all y'all are going to be at.
That's where we'll be, Somerville. But I'd like to be at the Bluffton Duels too, if I could be at both places. But and at USCB for Beach Belt Conference basketball. But alas, there's only one of me, so I'll be at Somerville. But lots of great wrestling coming up, and then we're moving toward the playoffs. Greg, when are your state tournament qualifiers and your state duels?
State duels are January 29th through February 3rd. So, top 8, there'll be, your quarterfinals and semifinals and so forth. And last year we beat Northwood and then faced off against Cardinal Newman in the semis. So we'll get prepped up for that. Hopefully have some guys that are coming back into the room. They're healthy and, go from there. So obviously ultimately get into the finals match. We're going to have to knock off either Hammond or Cardinal Newman. So we wrestled both Hammond and Cardinal Newman at the Hammond duels, and so we'll see. So
right on. Yeah, that'll be. How'd you fare against them?
Hammond was okay. I think the score was something like 48-34. And then last match of the day against Cardinal Newman, we just ran out of steam, and they came in and put a whooping on us.
Those are the top 2 teams, right? Top 2 teams.
Yeah.
So you guys are right there in that next year and trying to catch them.
Yeah. We're working on it. We'll get there at some point. So hopefully we can pull off some upsets. Talk about bonus points. Just like this weekend. So don't get pinned and pin. So
that's right. Pin and don't get pinned. We have a pin chain for McCracken for the duels. We get to bust that back out this week. The pin chain. Pass that off whenever you get a pin. So trying to instill that killer instinct, to go get that pin. But it's great fun. Rutherford and Powell, you guys start dual playoffs when?
I think it's the first week in February.
Yeah. February 3rd, I think, when they have states is our first weekend, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Right on. And then you get into you'll have 2 rounds on that first Saturday at one place, and then you'll go Wednesday,
Wednesday state championship. Yep.
Monday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Oh wow. Yeah, we go bang, bang, bang tough. All in one week. Whew. That's a brutal
wait
run.
like 4 times. You make wait 4 times in 7 days. It's brutal.
The kids really love it. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah. Great times. Great times. Nobody's cranky at all.
Yeah. Exactly.
But and then the week after that will be the individual lower state, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So we are into the thick of it now, boys. We're just a couple of weeks. We got region, we got dual playoffs, we got state, and Lawrence is getting after it for state real soon. So we'll have lots more wrestling information, lots of more wrestling coverage coming your way over the next weeks. Who else? Does somebody has a Wednesday match? You got one, Lawrence, right? Bridges Prep.
Yeah, Bridges and Edisto. That's our middle school. So
10-4. Oh, that's your middle school.
Yeah.
And then do you have a regional this week, pal?
Yeah, we traveled to Collington County. We wrestled Collington and Lucy Beckham on Wednesday.
All right, perfect. Lucy Beckham, that's a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, they're tough, man. They got a great coach. He does an incredible job. Great assistant. They're building a program. I think they're probably 4 years in now. So they got some good wrestlers, man. So it's gonna be a tough contest for us.
Obviously, Gianni Batone is a stud, but they've got a bunch of good ones. I've talked with their assistant coach a number of times at tournaments. He's a really cool,
awesome
guy.
Man.
Yeah, I love that guy. He's great to talk with. He just looks like a wrestler too. Like he's just a little tough looking dude.
Yep.
I love chatting with that guy. He used to be somewhere else, James Island, maybe.
He was at Academic Magnet, I think.
That's right, Magnet. Yeah, that's what he told me, Academic Magnet. But that guy's really good. And Rutherford, do you have any duels this week?
We have a Whale Branch at home for alumni night. Our region does something weird since COVID.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it.
It's tough. We do all of our region matches on one night. It'll be hosted at Creek this year on the 23rd, I believe that's the date. So we'll wrestle. We basically just put 2 mats in the gym, and there's no hiding that point. Everyone just kind of comes in, we wrestle, and you come in 0-0 and you leave either region champ or not. So
I know. I kind of love it.
I like it. I wish we did it on Saturday, but I think all the coaches like getting out of school at noon.
Yeah. The kids certainly do. But I love it. I agree. Saturday would be better, but I love the idea of doing them all.
It's hard when you have all the JV stuff going on and girls state qualifier coming up. So we were going to go to a Saturday this year, but we decided to keep it on a Wednesday and keep the weekends open so we can support the youth and the smaller programs. Get the middle.
I think Javon from Buford's Own is going to try to stream it, right?
I believe that's the plan. Yeah. So we're excited for that. That'll be cool. So it'll be live, and we'll have it up on probably 2 cameras, he said. So that way,
nice.
When us and Buford are not wrestling, we'll basically have hopefully a nice split screen going on there.
Nice. And Gerhardt, there's your chance. Do your commentary.
Yeah, if my schedule just
yeah, we'll take it. We got a mic now. We got a mic at Creek. We can, you can announce everybody. You can do it big.
Who's going to be the first to get the spotlight?
We have it for basketball. I'm trying to see if they'll do it for if we can drop a big light for wrestling. But
that's what I'm saying.
Eastside kind of coined that, and I don't know if you heard about it, Powell, when the light fell. So that always scares me.
Oh wow! No.
We blame Mayholt for that one.
Right.
You got to make sure you get that engineered properly. That's a bad situation. We saw a situation this weekend. We saw a kid run across the mat in the middle of a match.
He was just walking. Like nothing was going on.
And a referee pushed him out of the way and said, "Get off the mat." I'm like, "Blow the whistle, bro."
You're just diddy popping on the mat in the middle of the match.
Just right across the middle of the mat in the middle of the match. He got about 4 feet from those guys. If Eli would have thrown that dude, it would have been lights out for that kid. It was an 80 pounder too. He would have been clocked. We saw all kinds of crazy stuff this weekend. That was the craziest wrestling tournament I've ever been to. I got one for you, pal. You ever seen a takedown awarded and then called off and put them back on their feet 0-0 because he had his hands locked?
Coach, I wish I could tell you I never seen that before, but that exact same scenario happened in a varsity tournament at Dreer this weekend. We're neutral, and he calls the other kid for locking hands, but says no takedown. And I'm like, it was to benefit us, but I finally had to be like, "Hey, sir, look, it is impossible to have locked hands if he did not get a takedown." He looks at me and he's like, "All right, easy enough. No takedown, no locking hands." All right.
Well, we saw the same referee. We saw the same referee insist that this is ruled twice. But he told us at the coaches meeting not to argue with him about any judgment calls or he'd throw us out. So we didn't. But I asked our friend George Dixon, who's the best wrestling official I know, and he said there's only one reason he can think of to call that, and it's delusion. So I feel pretty confident that there's no rule that you can get a takedown nullified for locking hands. which I was pretty sure because you can only be called from locked hands when you're in control.
That is
and
correct.
You can't be in control from neutral. So if you already gave me 2 and then you call locking hands, it's 2-1 and that guy's down. It's not 0-0 when we're on our feet. I'm just it's going to haunt me for the rest of my days.
Just
it's going to haunt me the rest of my days.
Now, guy, but it's like, what?
Proof that like ball, wrestling don't lie, though. The kid who got the takedown then got a 4-point move. So he was up 4-0 instead of 2-1. So it was all fine.
All right.
It was pretty wild. You never know what you're going to see out there, especially at the JV middle school qualifier. All the good ones were somewhere else. But that's the way it goes. But well, hey guys, let's shout out our Lowco Booster Club, and then we'll go around the room and see if we got any hammers of the week, and then we'll call it tonight. Lowco Booster Club, Prime IV Hydration and Wellness, now open in Bell Fairtown Village. You could go get juiced up. Probably not the wrestlers. That's probably a little too much hydration for you. You might not make weight, but on wrestlers. After the season, wrestlers should definitely go to Prime IV and get rehydrated. Rooted Living Wellness. Now the wrestlers could benefit from a visit to Dr. Ambrose Cole at Rooted Living Wellness. He could crack them up, get that vertebrae back in line so you're at your best and can wrestle without pain. Court Lifestyle Pros, Lowcountry natives Daniel and Debbie Court, selling the Lowco lifestyle on Hilton Head Island. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry that can get your floors so clean your feet will thank you, unless they're dirt floors. I was given that caveat. And Eagle Creations, a great place for promotional items, team gear, and custom apparel. Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not, and home of our friend Jay Alfonso. We were talking with him in the studio pre-show. Unfortunately, Thomas Hayward hasn't wrestled in a while, so he has no updates on his little 113 hammer over there. But he's been hitting a reverence too. He's going to be good, man. He's going to be good. But hammers of the week, fellas. I never go first. Gerhardt, who you got? Who's your hammer of the week?
Well, he's not a high schooler, but I have to go with our man, Andrew Lawson, middle schooler. He had probably the toughest bracket this Saturday. He had about 5, including him, 5 studs in that, and 4 of them were on the same side. So it's just how it worked out. But all the kids were saying one of the kids he beat was a Virginia Beach finalist. He beat a tough River Ridge kid, Spencer. And then in the finals, he beat a tough Hilton Head or a tough Bridges Prep kid.
Prep kid. Yeah.
Tough
he had
tournament for him.
Great day.
He beat that River Ridge kid that he previously lost to. So it was a really good showing, and he handled business. So.
Yes, he did. He was really impressive in that quarterfinal match. I don't even remember what that kid's name was now, but he was very good. He was wrestling unattached as well.
Yeah, beat him 7-0.
Yeah, that was a textbook win. He wrestled so smart in that match. Rutherford, who's your hammer of the week?
We had a bunch of guys do pretty well, but I have to give it to Mr.
You can give more than one if you need to.
Well, Gunner gets enough. He doesn't need any more. I have to give it to Andrew Legree. I mean, that guy went 5-0, 4 pins, and then he beat the number 2 who had beaten him previously this year. So between him and John Coker going 5-0 in all pins, he's heating up. So those 2 guys definitely took the hammer for Creek this week.
Legree was mad about not placing his shark, wasn't he?
He
came 1 round away and he had to be mad.
Yeah, well, and it's his own fault. He, nothing against him, but he beat a kid and lost to him later. Just gave him a little too confident. So, and that's what happens. Some guys when they lose early, they get that dog in them, and he found a bigger dog that day. So
learned a lesson.
It's got to happen. So he's smart. So,
Greg Lawns, you got a hammer of the week?
Yeah, we had 2 guys, Brian Orta and Gavin Byrne, who really stepped up. Brian went 5-0. Both he and Gavin went 4-1, and both those guys came from behind in the consolation finals of our dual tourney and got pins. And Gavin wrestled up a weight class. He was considerably undersized, and he pulled it out. So same thing goes with Brian. He really went out, and I just was physical, which we're trying to teach our guys to get to that next level, just being a punisher, and it's hard to teach that. You just got to do it. So
yeah, you either kind of got it in you or you don't. And sometimes you see it click in somebody, but sometimes they just aren't quite mean enough. You got to have a little meanness in you in this sport for sure. You can develop it though. Coach Powell, Hammers of the Week.
I think it's like Gavin Satowski. Gavin Satowski, who's a senior who's been with us for a while and just hasn't had a whole lot of success. I think he went to a Dreer tournament with a losing record and lost in a round of 16 and rattled off 4 wins in a row against 3 kids that were pretty solid. To finish 4th, Marcus Folk lost in a round of 16 and battled back to get 4th. And then Will Morrow finally wrestled well and got to the finals and got caught kind of in the finals. So he finished 2nd. So overall, we had a couple kids that just stepped up who haven't, been as consistent as somebody like, the Houston or Josh Echeverry or Dylan Seaman. And a couple of them produced huge for us and got to that 3rd and 4th place match. So I'm most proud of those 3 for sure.
Outstanding. I'll give a couple out. I'll go Vivian Ariola from May River, winning the JV tournament. That's big time. I love to see that.
She's good, man.
I love to see the girls, beating the boys. It's awesome. It makes me so happy. We saw a little girl in 88 pounds beat a kid in a double overtime, and it was a hype match. That was fun. And then my son wrestled that kid the next match, so that was fun too. And then I'll give a middle school hammer too. Jake Izzy from River Ridge. This kid he's a beast. I think Cole Sowers is probably going to the season. Most of us who kind of knew who people were would have said he was probably the toughest middle school kid in the area, and he's very good. But Jake's 2 for 2 against him now. Got him in the finals at Lowco and got him in the finals this weekend. And I suspect they'll see each other in the finals again on Saturday. And who knows what'll happen. But that's been a really fun rivalry for me just because I've known those both kids since they were young and know how good they both are. So I always, savor getting to see them go head to head. There's been some great matches between them already. And because Cole used to own him when we were younger. And Jake's, caught up to him now, and they're really good battles. So I suspect they'll go back and forth over the years if they stay at the same weights. But no, I love what we're doing here, guys. Bringing the whole wrestling community together. We had great viewership tonight. We were up over 20 live several times, which is terrific, and it'll still be there in the morning for everybody else to get caught up on what's happening in the Lowco wrestling scene. But we appreciate you all jumping on for us. Chase Gearhart, Coach Rutherford, Coach Powell, Coach Lawns. Great to have you all, and we'll be back probably next Sunday. Wednesdays don't work right now because USCB's at home on Wednesday night, but I think Sunday works well because any Saturday tournaments, we have time to figure out what happened and round everybody up. We're all too tired on Saturday nights anyway. So Sunday night it is. We'll see you for the Lowco Grind. That's going to do it for this one. Until next time, keep grinding and go Lowco.